So we installed the VSFTPD service in our machine. System CTL status FTP VSFTPD. Okay. So first we have to configure with the anonymous user. Okay. So get inside to the etc directory. Then after that, nano vsftpd.conf. And we have to allow the anonymous user yes. And I configured one thing yesterday that we have to comment it. Then after that, the particular directory which we want to share. So FTP directory we actually created yesterday. Where we actually created inside the Ubuntu. Okay. So for that, anon underscore root, and we are going to provide the path that is home/ubuntu/ftp. So with the FTP service, I want to share this FTP folder with anonymous user. So anonymous is yes, and I already provide the path. Now save it, Control O, enter, Control X for exit, cd/home Ubuntu. This is the directory which I actually, in this directory, these are the files are being stored. Okay. Now we have to restart the service. Systemctl restart vsftpd. Now let me check whether I am able to access it or not with my FTP client. So this is my FTP client is. IP address of my Ubuntu machine 251. FTP. For accessing the FTP, command is FTP space the IP address of FTP server. Now here we are providing the username anonymous. Anonymous. Password is anonymous. Anonymous user and anonymous password. This is something like a default username and password for any particular device or a application. So if an attacker is trying to accessing the FTP server, first of all, he is actually trying this username and password. And he is predicting that somehow the person is actually configured with its anonymous username and password. But very least chances are there that the organization is going to um, configure the FTP server by anonymous user, because it would be accessed by everyone. Everyone know that anonymous is a user through which FTP is actually being accessed. So each and every time this should be disabled by the organization. But right now I am showing you with the anonymous username and password, we can able to access it and it is showing the files over here. Okay. But if you are accessing with the anonymous user, so whatever the data is stored inside the FTP directory, it will show to each and every person. Okay, each and every person. But I told you that FTP is used to provide the user authentication, user-wise authentication to provide the data to a particular employee. So that means particular employee should access the particular data by using the FTP service by providing the FTP authentication. So how that will actually be done? That means there are different departments are there. Different departments are different employees. Different employees have different username and password. And if they are going to access the FTP server by its employee username and password, the employees exactly access the particular data which is actually provided to the particular user. So where suppose that there is a user one and there is a user two. So user one is not able to access the data of user two because he don't have the credentials. So he can only able to access its own isolated data. Okay. So how we can able to do that? For that one, nano. Okay. First of all, mm, we have to create a user. Okay. First of all, we have to create a user. Suppose that there are two employees are there. So first create a user for add user and provide the username. Suppose that Vinay. Password, I provided the password. Confirm the password. Yes, created. Now second user, add user Ravi. Provide the password, confirm it. Done. If I put in the home directory, it is showing Vinay user is there, Ravi user is there. Two users are created, two profiles are shown over here. Okay, fine. Now we want if Ravi access the FTP server, he will able to access its own data. If Vinay access that FTP server, he will access the actual data. So users are not going to be logging into the FTP server. This Ubuntu machine is the FTP server and client machines are sitting in their own client machines. Okay. So these configurations are be done in the server side. So we are actually configuring the server. So if we want that when Ravi, I will created the username and password. If I provide this username and password to the employee and he will try to access the FTP server with this username and password, he will get the appropriate data which he want. Get inside to the Ravi username profile. Okay, nothing is here. Now I created some file ASDF. Suppose that these files are in Ravi user. Then I get inside to the Vinay user's profile and I created WQWERT. Okay. So with For two users, in the two users profile, I created different data. Okay. Now from the FTP server, this is my FTP server, and I want to share the files and these files by the user authentication. Okay. So for that, what we have to do, we have to configure the vsftpd.conf file. First of all, anonymous enable is there. So we have to just provide the no for the anonymous enable. Then ch on uploads, uncomment this, and the last, if you want to uncomment it, and if you want to comment it, otherwise remove this line. That's it. Control O, enter, Control S, then again systemctl, restart vsft pd. Okay. Now let's check. FTP space. Now I am providing the username Ravi and password. And when I check, these files are showing for the Ravi user. So if there is a Ravi is an employee in our organization, if I provide the username password for the FTP server, he accessing the FTP server from the client machine, and these files are being accessed. Okay. Then suppose that second user who is Vinay, he accessing the FTP server and he is accessing its own different files. These are the different files which are when I access with the Ravi user. These are the different files when we are access with the Vinay user. So this is how the organizations are actually providing the FTP server. And FTP server, we can also able to access over the internet. So for that, what we have to do, we have to just provide a public IP for the FTP server, and we have to done some configuration in our firewall. Then our FTP server is ready to access over the internet. Fine. Any doubt?
सर आपने अभी किया क्या है, मतलब मैं तो अभी थोड़ा लेट हो गया आने में क्लास में।
जो कल किया था वही कर रहे थे। कल हमने
अच्छा
जब कमांड चलाए थे तो एक्सेस नहीं हो रहा था, तो मैंने आपको दिखाया था कि वो ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम में ग्लिच है। तो वही चीज मैं आज करके दिखा रहा था। दिस इज माय एफटीपी सर्वर, आई क्रिएटेड एंड कॉन्फ़िगर्ड दिस उबुंटू मशीन एज एन एफटीपी सर्वर। ओके, तो मैंने किया क्या, यहाँ पर रवि नाम का एक यूजर क्रिएट किया, एक विनय नाम का यूजर क्रिएट किया। ठीक है, जब रवि एफटीपी सर्वर को एक्सेस कर रहा है, यूजर नेम रवि डाल के और क्रेडेंशियल प्रोवाइड कर रहा है, तो वो डेटा एक्सेस कर रहा है जो सर्वर ने उसको प्रोवाइड किया है। ये सिर्फ रवि अपने ऑथेंटिकेशंस देके एक्सेस करेगा। वहीं पे जब विनय नाम का यूजर एक्सेस कर रहा है एफटीपी सर्वर को, अपने क्रेडेंशियल्स प्रोवाइड करके उसको अलग डेटा प्रोवाइड हो रहा है। ओके
ओके सर।
I'm trying one more thing. I'm trying to crack the password of the FTP server. Okay. cd/home/kali. Username.txt, password.txt. So we have a list of username, that username Vinay is there, Ravi is there. Okay. Okay, fine. And cat password.txt is there. Now I already told you that over the dark web, we can able to purchase the username and passwords word list file from there. Okay. If I got these files, then suppose that I am trying to attack on a FTP server for fetching the username and password. Uh, you can say it is like a brute force attack. Okay. So we are trying the brute force attack. We are forcefully trying to fetch the username and password of a FTP server. So I am using a command Hydra. Hydra space hyphen L, then the username file, then hyphen P, the password file, then the IP address of the 251. This is the IP address of, yeah. So this is the IP address of FTP server, then space FTP. Okay. See, it check in the FTP server. I am in the Kali Linux operating system, and this is my FTP server, which is Ubuntu operating system. With the help of Hydra, I am able to find out what are the username and what are the password of the FTP server is. But I need a username and password file. Okay, got it? And these files we will get from the dark web, or if you are joined some any WhatsApp group or Telegram group over there, so many cyber experts or the hackers group is there. So from there we can able to get these kinds of files. And if you have a FTP server, try to do the brute force attack over there and fetch out the username and password of the FTP server. And one more thing I'm trying to do. Dot 168.31.2 registered user Vinay. Hmm? How it is possible? It accessed it. Hmm. It is not showing the particular files. It is exactly showing from where these data are showing for which particular machine. I only shared the file for Vinay user. I think so. It is showing something. Run user 1000 GB. Okay. Hmm. How it is possible? It is showing each and every slash run. Not an issue. Okay. So we had configured the FTP server and we cracked the password. Okay, you know that in the Windows operating system, in Windows 10 operating system, they are actually providing a FTP server facility in my client operating system also. You have to open your Microsoft Store. Okay. Microsoft Store. In Microsoft Store, search for Universal. Okay, search FTP. In FTP, open Universal FTP server. Okay. So you have to first install it. I already installed it. That's why it is showing open. You have to first install it. Click on open. Hmm. Now what you have to do for port number 21, I shared a folder from E drive. Just see where this folder is. In E drive, FTP folder is there, and these are the content which is shared from there. Okay, fine. Okay, username is Vinay, password is Red Hat. Click on start. Started. And what is the IP address of my machine is 185. Okay, let's see. FTP 185, username is Vinay, password is Red Hat. See, each and everything is shown. Okay, but here we cannot able to do any configuration. It actually showing a default configuration over here. We have to use these configuration only. Means a single folder. Then after that, start the service. That's it. Nothing would be. we cannot able to change it about the configuration. Whatever the folder we can able to provide from here, that is the folder. If you want to change the particular directory which you want to share from the FTP server, you can able to share it. But for each and every user, only one username and password you have to share for each and every user. Okay, but there is a application is actually provided by the Windows machine in the Microsoft store so that we can able to use the FTP server. Fine. If you exit from the FTP, command is buy. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Now, what we are actually going to do, I am shutting down my this Ubuntu operating system and creating one more Ubuntu virtual machine in my virtual box. So for that, first of all, Ubuntu. Okay, fine. This is for the Ubuntu. I'm using this folder, and Ubuntu is also have a OVA file. You can able to download the Ubuntu virtual machine image file or from the internet. Okay. This is my image file list. Next, change the path where we want to store our operating system files. Finish, agree. Now it will import the Ubuntu OVA file into my virtual box. So we have to wait. Anything you want to ask me? Any doubt, any query? Nothing? Okay. Settings, system, 2 GB, one processor, page adapter, done. I'm starting my new window. Oh, sorry, new Ubuntu operating system. Actually, I already configured so many things in Ubuntu virtual machine. Now we have to see the configuration, how we can able to set up our web server in the organization, how they are actually deploying their web server and linking that web server with their uh, database. Okay, that we are going to see. So that's why I am going to create a new virtual machine. Password is Ubuntu. Open the terminal. Whenever in any Linux operating system, when you installed a new Linux operating system of any family, first of all, you have to update that operating system. Update, okay, not upgrade. So for updating the Linux operating system, right now we are using Ubuntu operating system. We have to run a command apt space update. Then only we can able to install the new services in my operating system. So after updating the operating system, we are going to configure the website. So as I told you yesterday, In Linux operating system, we are using the service Apache. So we have to install the Apache service first in our operating system in which we want to make a web server. Okay, so first task is to install the Apache service. Done. Update is done. Okay. Now I have to install Apache service. So the name of the service is Apache 2, means the new version which is launched. Before that, previously only Apache is actually running. Now Apache 2 is being introduced, so we have to run Apache 2. Now Apache would not be configured in our machine. So apt space install Apache 2. Do you want to continue? Yes. Okay, so it installed the Apache service successfully. Now, after that, what organizations are actually doing, they are going to install some more services like PHP, MB, string, string, okay, PHP, zip, PHP, GD, PHP, JSON, PHP, perm. Okay, these are used to read the HTML files, read the CSS files, read the PHP files, read the JavaScript files. For these usages, we are actually installing all the PHP combo in here. Yes. Okay, done. So it installed all the PHP packages. Now I'm going to install the MySQL server and MySQL client. Okay, apt install MySQL server, MySQL client. Yes. So in this machine, I am installing both the MySQL uh, versions, server and the client. For the header. So these are the methods by which organizations are actually deploying their web servers. They are installing the Apache service, then the database, whatever the database they want to use. Okay, done. So let me check whether my MySQL is server is running or not. I'm just running the command MySQL. Okay, it is showing the prompt. I'm running a query. Select user authentication underscore string comma plugin comma host from MySQL dot user. Now it is showing username. So right now it is showing the root username, but it is not showing the password. That means the root user does not have the password right now. So that's why when I run the command MySQL, directly get inside to the MySQL prompt and it is showing the terminal. But in the real scenario, we have to configure the root user password for the MySQL. This is the MySQL root user, okay, not the machine's root user. So for setting the password for the root user, alter space user space root at the rate local host. Local host means my own machine. Then identified identified with catching underscore SHA2 underscore password by. Now I'm setting the password. Okay, suppose that I am setting the password pass123. Okay, so I provided for the root user, provide this password. Affected. Now again I am running the previous query. Select user comma authentication underscore string comma plugin comma host from MySQL dot user. Now I set the password. See, it is showing the password in the encrypted form. I set the password pass123. Okay. Now I'm exit from my MySQL and again try to log in my MySQL. Now see, when I run the command MySQL, it is show access denied because I set the password for root user. Now I have to provide the root user password, then only we can able to access inside the root, inside the MySQL. So for that, MySQL space -u username, that is root, and space -p, that means for password. It is asking the password PASS123 pass123. Now it is showing. Okay. Now we install the PHP packages, we install the MySQL server, MySQL client. Now we are going to install PHP by my admin package over here, so that we, if a database administrator wants to manage the MySQL database with the graphical prompt, he can able to do that one also by the PHP my admin panel. Okay, so for that, apt install PHP my admin. PHP my admin. Yes. I am using Apache 2. So press space bar to select the star in the Apache 2. Then press the tab button. Get to the OK. Press enter. Okay. Press enter for yes. Now it is asking for the PHP my admin password. I am providing the same password PASS123. for this panel also. Confirm the password PASS123. Okay, so it installed the PHP MyAdmin also. Now what we are going to do, hmm, let's see the status of the Apache 2 system CTL status Apache 2. It is running. Okay. Now see, uh, the appropriate path where exactly we have to launch our website, that is slash www/html. In this path, we have to store our website. So right now it will show you an index.html file. Okay. Inside this index.html file, this code is actually written over here. Now the IP address of my machine is 251. So let's see in the browser 192.168.31.251. No, sorry, it is the different Ubuntu machine. No? If config 26 is the IP address. Okay. 26, press enter. And this is the page which is launched by the web server. Okay. So I'm able to access my web server over here. Fine. So web server is accessed. Now our task. If we want to access the my PHP PHP my admin panel through the browser, okay, to manage our MySQL database configurations, not that panel we have to manage it. So that we can able to do. Open the browser. Okay. This is the IP address /PHP my admin. It is asking for the username. Root is the user. Pass123 is the password. Click on go. And it opens the panel. Suppose that if you want to check the users, what are the users in your panel is expand the MySQL. Here users is there, users information. So in users information, see root user is showing over here. If you want to create a new user, is there any option over here to create a new user? You can able to edit this user. Click on edit. In edit option, what are the information it is showing? Catching SSH2, the particular encryption method. So actually this panel is actually managed by the database administrator. Okay, so each and everything by the panel he can able to do there. PHP my admin. Okay, so like this, in the organization, they are working in their environment. Got it? Now I'm closing this panel. This is how our web server is actually deployed. So it is access the web server also. It is also access the PHP, my admin panel also. My SQL server is also running. Okay, so each and everything is running properly. Now FTP we had configured, web server we had configured. Now there is a protocol called SSH, Secure Shell. Okay, it is basically used to provide a remote shell with the security. How it is actually providing the security? Because TLS is running with this protocol. So apart from the telnet, we in the organizations they are using SSH because telnet is not providing the security when the data transmission has been occurred in the network. If you are using the telnet, it actually sending the data in a plain text form, each and everything, whether you are providing the username password, whether you are sending any data, when you are receiving any data, when you are accessing the remote shell or the remote terminal from the long distance remotely, so nothing will be secure. But if we are told about, if we told about the SSH, SSH provides the full security over the remote control. Okay, so let me check whether my SSH is running or not. CD/etc nano SSH. Yeah, SSH is there. SSHD is there? No. Okay. I think so. SSH is not installed. apt install. So SSH is for the client. So client SSH is installed, but server SSH is not installed. SSHD is for the server package and SSH is for the client SSH. Okay, client package. So client package is installed, server package is not installed. So we have to install the server package. apt space install space SSHD. Enable to read the package. Okay. No. Hmm. Okay, let me check. System serial status SSHD. So SSHD is running. Then why it is not showing the direct? Okay, not an issue. SSHD service is running. Okay, that is uh, that we want exactly. Now we have to access this Ubuntu machine over the remote from any other particular location. We can able to access it via SSH if we are running Linux operating system. Okay, so for that, we have to create a user. Uh, Add user. Uh, Suppose that Anna password created. Now see, I am going to access my this particular Ubuntu terminal with my Windows machine. Okay, base operating system. So for that, run the command ssh space whatever the username, that is enough, at the rate, then the IP address of the machine 192.168.31. What is the IP address? 26. 26. Okay. 26. It is asking you want to, sure you want to continue with the connection? Yes. Now it is asking for the password. Directly it is asking for the password for the ENA. Okay. So password of the ENA provided. Got the shell. Okay. See. Now in the Windows machine, I am exactly working on my Ubuntu machine. Each and everything I am able to do over here. Oh, okay. I do not have the sudo permission. Okay, not an issue. ls forward slash, it is showing the data of this particular machine. I am exactly working in my Ubuntu operating system. So if I am going to do anything right now where I am pwd in my NA directory. Now see, I'm going to create one directory over here, mkdir new, then cd new. So I'm exactly working in my Ubuntu operating system. Okay. Then I'm going to create three files. And if I check here, slash home slash NA, new directory is showing, all files are showing. So right now I am working in the machine remotely, and each and every data is exactly storing in my remote machine. So each and every command is actually executing over the remote machine, which is kept over a remote location. So that's why we are using the SSH, so that we can get the security over the network whenever the data is traveling over the network or the internet. Okay. Now, see one more thing. The root user. Okay. And with the root user, pass pass WD of root user, password I set ASD. So I set the root user password. Okay. Now suppose that I am trying to access the SSH with root user. 192.168.31.26. It is asking for the password. I provide the password and it is showing permission denied. So by default in SSH, the root user is actually denied by default. And in the organization, they are actually not allowing the root user privilege for accessing the SSH over the remote login. Why? Because they are not providing anyone root privilege over the remote login. Otherwise, it would be create a threat for their machine. So they are not providing remote access. But suppose that if you want to provide the uh, root user, if you want to provide a root user accessing via SSH, so we can able to do that one also. How? We have to get inside to my Ubuntu machine where my SSH is actually configured. CD slash etc slash SSH. Inside this directory, sshd underscore config. sshd underscore config, this file. Okay. This file we are going to open. This is the configuration file of my SSH server. Okay. This is the configuration file of my SSH client. This is the configuration file of my SSH server. Now With the help of nano command, I am opening up this sshd underscore config file, or inside this config file, we have to provide the root user access permission root see permit root login, prohibit password. So remove this thing from here, prohibit password, and type it yes. Okay. Permit root login. Yes. Fine. That's it. This we have to do. Control O, enter, Control X, and restart your service. So system CTL restart SSH. Restart. Restarted. Now see. Provide the login. Provide the remote login via the root user. So like this, we can able to modify our configurations over the HSS server by configuring our configuration files. Okay, so I am able to remotely access my uh, SSH via root user. Okay, now if I am configured my SSH and the SSH is actually providing you the remote uh, login to each and every client machine. Suppose that if an attacker went to crack your SSH username and password, so he can able to do. So let me try whether I am able to crack the password of my SSH user or not. So for that, this would be done by the Metasploit framework. So the command is msf console msf console got the terminal. Now what we want, we actually want to do the SSH login exploitation. So first of all, search SSH login. Is there any auxiliaries available for this one? So for the auxiliary, it is available auxiliary scanner SSH underscore login. So we are going to use this auxiliary. Use auxiliary it is not using the tab auxiliaries scanner SSH SSH underscore login. Okay, use. Okay. Now after that options command, it is asking for remote host. Means what is the IP address of my SSH server? Set R host 192.168.31.26. Done. Now verbose is file. Whether to print output to all attempts. Yes. So set verbose true. Okay. Then username. So for which username I want to attack on? So suppose that I want to attack on set username Ubuntu. I want to attack on the Ubuntu user. Okay. Set username Ubuntu. Okay. Okay. One more thing I wanted. Wait a minute. cd/home/kali. cd diagram password text. I have to run this metasploit now from here, from this location, because we need this password.txt file. Okay. So I'm again running my MSF console command. So MSF console is exactly fetching the files from the particular location where you had actually run the command. So it is not fetching the file from any other location. Okay. And we cannot able to provide the path also. So we have to do the steps of again. Use auxiliary scanner SSH login. Options set R host 192.168.31.26 set verbose to then set username Ubuntu. Now we have to set a password file. Okay. So for setting a password file, set pass underscore file, and the name of the file is what is the name of the file was passwords.txt. Passwords.txt. So this is also a brute force attack. Okay. So when I provide all the informations, now run the command exploit. Now start the brute forcing attack. Ubuntu, the password is ASD, no. QWE, no. ZXE, no. Test user, no. ASD@123, no. ASD, no. The password for the Ubuntu is Ubuntu. Okay. So it fetch the one session is opened, scanned one. Now like this, we can able to done the brute force attack and fetch the password of the exact username. Okay. So like this, we can able to attack on the um, SSH users, SSH server. What are the users is actually using over there? Okay. Suppose that in place of Ubuntu, I want to set username and exploit. So for the another password is AST. Okay. So like this, we can able to brute force it, but we need a word list file. That is the main thing. Okay. Wait a minute, guys. I'm just going back. Okay. Now I am exit from. Okay. So do you heard about the RDP protocol, remote desktop protocol? So RDP is a protocol that enables a user to connect to the another computer by using the graphical interface. So right now I access the machine by remote, but through the terminal, through the command prompt. But if we want to access the terminal by graphical user interface, then the RDP protocol is exactly using there. Okay. So most of the cases we are actually accessing the or using the RDP protocol where the Windows machines are actually running on. So if the source machine is of Windows operating system and the destination which access it, that is also Windows operating system, then we are actually using RDP protocol over there. Is the tool remote desktop connection, this tool. This remote desktop connection, we can able to access the machine remotely by GUI. But this is a tool for the Windows. Okay. If you want to access the Windows to Windows connection. Okay, fine. Now suppose that if you want to access the uh, Windows machine by Kali Linux operating system, that means you are running in the particular user is actually working on the Kali Linux operating system, and this user want to access the Windows operating system via Linux operating system. So that is possible. We have to just run a particular service. We have to just run a particular tool, that is XRDP. Okay. So for running this tool, first of all, you have to install this service, apt install XRDP. So XRDP is already there. Okay. So I already installed this tool. Now systemctl status of XRDP. So right now my XRDP is disabled. So I have to start this XRDP. Start. Okay. Now it started. Now check the status. Now the status is running. Okay. Now we have to do one more thing. What is that? There is a default firewalls are running in the Linux operating system. So that is not going to permit you to get the traffic inside to your Linux operating system, the RDP protocol or the RDP port number. The port number of RDP is 3389. So for that, what we are going to do, apt install one firewall, UFW. This is the name of the firewall which we are going to install it. UFW. So it install the UFW firewall. Now what you have to do, run the command. Now my tool is running. Run the command UFW enable. So now firewall is active and enable for system startup. Now you have to allow the RDP port number through UFW firewall. UFW space allow 3389 port number over the TCP. Done. And I think so the root user password is AST123. Okay, let's check. So I am going to access this Kali Linux machine via our Windows operating system. Okay. So for that, I am opening up my remote desktop connection. Provide the IP address of this machine. So what is the IP address of this machine is 27. Okay. 192.168.31.27. Click on connect. It is asking for the username. Username should be root. Password is AST@123. I meant Kali Linux operating system is remotely accessed via Windows operating system. Okay. Because Windows operating system only runs on RDP protocol. So if Windows want to access the Kali Linux via RDP, so graphical user interface is only being accessed by RDP protocol. So that's why I run the RDP protocol over there in Kali Linux. Okay, now we can able to do everything by graphical also, by command also, whatever you want. Okay. Now before going something else, I want to first of all UFW disable and APT remove UFW. Why I am doing this? Because this firewall exactly stop my each and every port number, and we have to do lots of work over here. So each and every task he demands for the particular port number, allow that this port number, then only we can able to pass the traffic. So that's why I remove the UFW right now. Otherwise, it will stop each and every traffic every time. Okay. So now I am talking about a web shell. Okay, so what is exactly the web shell is, you can able to run some script over the PHP, and we can able to run the PHP scripts. Okay, there are so many types of web shells are there, like your pass-through function, exec, your shell exec function. So there are so many functions are there for the web shell. I want to show you a simple task. Mm, cd/home/kali ls. mm, cd script. See, so I created a script. The name is shell.php. Okay. If I open this with the help of Nano, so I run some script over here. So right now I use a exec function, and with the help of exec function, I am actually run the, I want to run the command ls-l. Okay. So this is like a script in which I am running inside the PHP. I am using the exec function. Inside the exec function, I want to run the ls command. See how it is actually working on. PHP space shell.php. See, it is actually showing the ls command. So when you run this shell, it is actually running the command over here. Whatever the command I described in my exec function, it is actually running the command. So there are so many ways to do this script over there, but I am not going to get into that, I want to show you one thing over here. Mm, there is a script backdoor.php is here. Cat backdoor.php. Okay, here a particular script is actually running. A system function is running over here. Okay, now see how it is dangerous. If you are going to do the backdoor.php, you are using this PHP script file through any particular web server. So how you can able to hack that particular web server through the browser? Okay, for that, what you have to do, you have to just send this particular script file to your web server, whatever the web server is running. If an attacker find out any web servers or access the web server, he has to send this file over there. Okay, so I have to send this file to my Ubuntu web server. Exact location is /var/www/html. Hmm, how we can able to do that one? Hmm, SCP space backdoor.php 31.26. So SCP is a command through which we can able to directly send a file to any particular Linux operating system. Okay, to any Linux operating system through an appropriate path. Why I am sending this particular backdoor.php file into temp directory? Because temp directory is a default directory which has each and every permission to each and every user. Okay, so if I try to send this file over here in temp, let's see what exactly is here right now. cd/temp ls. So there are so many ls space -l. So many directories are there. Okay, I want to send my file to this directory. Okay. Uh, press yes, file is sent. Okay, let's check. Backdoor.php file is here. Okay. Now I copied this backdoor.php file to my where www.html location. I'm only showing you how a script file is dangerous for a web server. Okay. Mm, now see, I already run the web server over here. Okay, the web server is already running. The IP address is 192.168.31.26. Press enter. Yeah, it is running. Now see. Slash backdoor dot php cmd equal to ls space -l. So it is showing you index.html file right now. The exact location, it is showing this one. If you want to run any other thing like cmd equal to pwd command. So right now you are inside the var/www. What exactly it is showing? It is running the command in the Ubuntu operating system. Okay. Suppose that I want to check the uh, password file of the Ubuntu machine. So cat space slash etc slash passwd. Now it is showing username, root user, Ubuntu user, NI user is there. I created one more user now. It is not showing. My SQL server is there. Got it? Now suppose that if you want to check the process, what are the processes are running in the Ubuntu machine. So I run the command, suppose that top command. It is not showing the top command. Okay, not an issue. PS command. So process IDs are showing. And suppose that you want to check the cat space slash etc slash os hyphen release. Now it is showing Ubuntu version. What is the version of the Ubuntu, name of the operating system, each and everything information about the web server. Okay. Suppose that if you want to run the command net state, so it is showing the network status. Okay, it is showing the proper way. So this is how we can able to check it. Otherwise, suppose that who am I? www data. This is the username. And suppose that if you want to check u namespace hyphen I. So architecture is x86. Why top command is not running? Top command is not running. Okay. So what I had done actually, I actually run a backdoor shell script, and it actually enables the command prompt in the URL. Okay. Okay. Any doubt? Okay, one more thing I have to say. According to the course content or whatever the course is actually provided by the college decided to provide the training for 15 days. Okay. So according to the 15 days, tomorrow is your last class. Tomorrow is Thursday, 5th. Tomorrow is your last class. Okay. And the students who are actually enrolled with the certifications, CS certifications. So from Monday onwards, I will give you the training sessions about the CEH certification course. That in that I will tell you how the what kind of questions are being asked in that particular exam. Okay, what is the duration of the exam and whatever the thing I will discuss over there. from Monday onwards. Okay. Any query? Any question?
सर उसका सिलेबस भी मिलेगा क्या टॉपिक्स वाइज?
Actually, I will provide you terms questions. Okay.
Okay.
I will practice you those terms questions, and there is not an issue with that. If that is a offline proctored exam, then there is not an issue. Okay, don't worry about it.
बट सर मेरे को ना सिलेबस चाहिए था, तो ताकि मैं थोड़ा मतलब डिटेल में अदर सोर्सेज से भी थोड़ा डिटेल में पढ़ सकूं.
About the CH course content,
यस सर.
I will provide you. Not an issue. Okay,
ओके.
I will provide you the course content.
एंड सर अभी लास्ट डेट रजिस्ट्रेशन की कब तक है? क्योंकि
Saturday.
अभी. ओके. अभी थोड़ा मैं पैसों के जुगाड़ में लगा हुआ हूँ.
हाँ, कोई इशू नहीं है. ठीक है, अभी तो